Hello, welcome to One More Step to Wellness. I am your friend and host, Juliet Nelson, and I just really want to welcome you. I appreciate you coming, and I hope that you're able to bring a friend. Today, I want to ask you a question. What do you know about mental illness? And how do you know that the information you have is reliable? Is it accurate? Today I'm going to talk about mental illness, and I'm going to share some facts with you, and I'm going to tell you the causes of mental illness. And then we will take a look at why wellness is not an option. It is the option. But first, let me share some facts with you about mental illness. First, it is treatable. Second, it is common. Third, men and women experience mental illness in different ways. Early intervention makes a difference in the outcome of the disease process. Treating mental illness comes with an impactful financial cost, both to the individual and to society at large. When we think about mental illness in our society, we know, depending on where we live and where we come from, we know that this has always been a challenge. And I often say that mental health in general has always been the stepchild. It's usually kind of that afterthought. But now we have to talk about it because we see this all over, not just in our families, but we often experience the very same symptoms. Talking to a mental health professional will help us understand what I'm about to tell you. Mental illness is not caused by any one thing. There are many factors that causes mental illness, and sometimes there are combination factors. There are 5 factors that we know at this point that causes mental illness. They're biological, psychological, environmental, medical and physical health conditions, cultural and societal expectations. Let's just take a look at biological factors. Mental illness runs in families. In other words, it's handed down on a silver platter throughout sometimes the entire family generation. There might be somebody in the family who's had it before. You just never know, because this is not something that anyone was talking about. But mental illness runs in families. So it comes down through the genes. There are times when we have something called a neurochemical imbalance in the brain. Because of that, when you see a mental health professional who's able to help you understand what's going on based on your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, we kind of recognize which neurochemical is not working so well. Hormonal changes. Just think about women who go through different phases of life. Menopause. Think about men changing their testosterone levels. These are all factors that are all biologically related, and they can result in some of the biological causes of mental illness. Neurological conditions. Just think about sometimes athletes, concussions and things like that. These are all neurological changes, and there are so much more that can cause a biological shift resulting in a mental illness. Let's take a look at environmental factors. Do you know that chronic stress can result in many changes in our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors? So stress management now becomes that factor that we must work on. We have to be intentional about working on managing stress because the impact is far-reaching. What about social isolation? We have now recognized that many folks are experiencing loneliness. In of itself, it may not cause mental illness, but it does contribute to a mental illness because it is an environmental factor. Substance use, alcoholism, sniffing, snorting of all kinds of illegal and illicit drugs can result in changes in brain chemistry, and it can lead to mental illness. Toxic environments where one is exposed to toxic fumes, those kind of things are some things to consider when we're thinking about mental illness. So it is important to establish what is it that's causing the issue. Psychological factors: trauma and abuse, unresolved grief or loss of a loved one, untreated and prolonged sustained grief can contribute to mental illness. There are folks who just experience this deep, dark sadness, negative, down in the black hole kind of a feeling every single day. If you know someone, or if you are the person going through this, that you reach out and talk to someone. Share this information with a trusted friend. Talk to someone. Tell someone how you feel. It's not weakness. It is strength. It is courage to really be open and honest about the way you feel. Medical and physical health conditions such as chronic illnesses, diabetes, high blood pressure, those kind of conditions can result in a mental health issue. It is important for us to know that there are some vitamins and that contributes to good health. Of course, we know that. If we have decreased, like for example, vitamin D. If we have low vitamin D, you can experience feelings of depression. If the body lacks some of these nutritional requirements, you could experience symptoms of, for example, depression. What about cultural and societal factors? These are stigma and discrimination. When folks experience stigma and discrimination, they do not seek health care. They are not willing to open up because of being stigmatized. In addition to that, economic hardship. When one is not able to afford services to manage your mental health, mental illness can be the result. Social media also plays a key role in creating an impression that many folks find very difficult to follow. Folks who are trying to create that impression, body image issues, eating disorders, all these kind of things are as a result of peer pressure and societal expectations, which are so unrealistic. It is important, though, that once we recognize that we're feeling a certain way, it is important that they are addressed early, because otherwise they're going to get worse. The cost of treating mental health conditions comes at a significant price. The cost of inpatient hospitalization for one day is between $1,000 to $3,000. Wellness is not an option. It is the option. It is with great urgency that we have to do something. And a wellness plan must consider the 8 dimensions of wellness. In other words, if you believe that you're experiencing a mental health condition, for example, and it is a biological issue, it is important not to self-diagnose. You must talk to a mental health professional, because it is only in so doing that we can arrive at the root cause of the issue. If this is, say, a biological issue where, in your entire family, there is a mental health condition and it just happens to come down the line and you are now experiencing some issues that you have seen somewhere in your family, well, there's a different course of treatment for that. As I mentioned, early intervention reduces the impact of the illness. When you delay getting care or talking about it because you believe you want to hide, what is happening, you're only going to feel worse. So whether it's a biological issue, well, it could be genetics, could be brain chemistry imbalance, could be hormonal changes or neurological condition. So it can be managed accordingly. If this is an environmental issue, well, we can make some changes in our stress levels, find ways to connect with others, because social isolation is a problem. Environmental factors play a very key role into how we feel, how we think, and what we're doing. And exposure to toxins can result in a mental health conditions, and we cannot see that. It has to be diagnosed and clearly examined by a qualified medical provider. Wellness is not an option. It is the option. These are the facts as we know them. Take a look at environmental health. Take a look at intellectual health. How are you growing? Take a look at your emotional health. How do you feel every day? What are you experiencing? Take a look at your physical health. Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? We are trying to prevent disease progression. Take one more step today to wellness. You will have some resources that you're able to download and begin a wellness plan that will include all these 8 dimensions: social health, intellectual health, physical health, spiritual health, physical health, intellectual health, environmental health, and emotional health. These are key areas of health that will help you to design a wellness plan. And take a moment every day for yourself. It doesn't have to be long-winded. It's just about taking time for caring for yourself, to pause and rest and be. Because wellness is not an option. It is the option. Your health and wellness really matters. So whatever you and I have to do to take care of ourselves, it is well worth it. Biological factors, psychological factors, environmental factors, medical and physical health conditions, and cultural and societal expectations. These are factors that can cause mental illness. There is also a combination factor as well. It's not just one thing. It could be an integration of so many of these. So it will require that we take personal account of what's going on in our lives. You have now understood the facts and you know exactly what this is about. You have the power to make that change, one step at a time. Make the choice to be well. Wellness truly matters, and your health and wellness matters. And as we say in Jamaica, in the meantime, until I see you again, walk good. Take care. Be well.